Hey everybody, Bungsy here with another ultralight review on ultralight backpacking. I recently published a review of a new water bottle called the Vesica by CNOC. Yes, I'm at least trying to pronounce the company name correctly now. Who knew? It's not some stupid outdoorsy acronym. It's a Gaelic word for hill. I'm just not sure if it's CNOC or Croc. I've heard both, so help me out if you know better. Anyways, let's get to it. As you saw in my recent review, I love the new Vesica bottle when coupled with a filter. A real game changer. I've thrown a link up above for those who haven't seen this review. But what about their signature product? Their original, innovative, opens on both ends water bladder, which they call the Vecto. Anyone else think of this guy every time they hear that name? Everybody seems to love the Vecto, but do I love it? Ooh, the mystery. The basic concept is that it's a soft bladder with a conventional screw top at one end to accommodate a filter, but on the other end, it completely opens up edge to edge, as you can see, to make collecting water so much quicker and easier. What's not to like about that, right? Well, I do actually have a major issue with it, a real deal killer in my opinion. But first, a couple smaller observations, so you're going to have to stick around. First up, let's quickly take a look at the weight. The Vecto comes in a couple different volume sizes, as well as two versions with different screw top opening diameters to accommodate either the skinny external Sawyer type screw-on filter or the chubbier internal be-free filter, if you're familiar with it. My Vecto is the smaller 2-liter version designed for the standard 28 millimeter thread, aka the Sawyer filter. On my scale, this bladder weighs 2.71 ounces, certainly not heavy, but by comparison, it's a more traditional 2-liter Evernew bladder, as an example, weighs only 1.48 ounces, and a Smart Water bottle with a flip cap weighs 1.44 ounces, and the CNOC's new Vesica bottle weighs 2.11 ounces. So the Vecto bladder is anywhere from 0.6 to 1.27 ounces heavier than the common alternatives. Another topic before I get to my deal killer rant about this product though. Let's talk about leaks. I'm not saying this is a common problem with Vecto bladders. They have a great reputation, but the entire bottom does open up. Well made or not, that is an added risk factor. I'd also point out that the material used in making this product is much softer than the plastic used in a Smart Water bottle or even an Evernew bladder. By most accounts, again, it is a well-made bladder. That being said, I have experienced pin-size holes in soft bladders made with similar materials before, such as Hydropack soft bladders. This type of leak is super annoying as you only notice it after a good amount of time and you find a puddle in your tent in the morning or waterlogged some piece of gear. The only point here is that you need to be a little more careful and vigilant with a bladder like this. Okay, time for my deal killer rant. In 3 words, cross-contamination risk. Stating the obvious here, but for any and all filters to work as designed, all your water needs to pass through the full length of the filter. Not some of the filter, not most of the water. All of the water needs to go through the entire filter. In the case of the Vecto, what this means is that you need to remove your filter every time you collect water. This sounds like no big deal, but it actually translates to a relatively significant chunk of time and effort throughout the course of a day as you collect water. Enough of an annoyance that you might be tempted to roll the dice and just leave the filter on simply out of trail laziness, which, let's be honest, we all suffer from during several points throughout the day. With the traditional water storage options, such as CNOC's own Vesica bottle, I said it right, you have to remove the filter and put it somewhere safe in order to add water. Your filter will therefore never be submerged or even make contact with the untreated water source. So there's no way laziness or exhaustion will lead to cross-contamination. If you end up submerging your filter, there's no question that there is some amount of water in it or on it that won't be passed through the full length of the filter. Even if you have a cap on it, these caps are not watertight. especially if you submerge them. And if you choose to play it safe with the Vecto and remove the filter when you collect water, then realize that you have to fiddle with both ends of your bladder a couple times each time you fill. You have to first unscrew and store your filter and then tighten up the opening, after which you then have to open up the bottom to collect water, only to then have to close the bottom, which takes a little extra time, to then have to reopen the top spout and reattach your filter once again. With the Vecto, given the always present trail lazy factor, it's so tempting to just leave your filter in place while collecting from the open bottom, thereby sabotaging all your effort to filter your water in the first place. And nothing is going to bring your journey to an unexpected, highly unpleasant early ending than a raging intestinal infection. I can hear some of you already. I love my Vecto, and I've never gotten sick. Gotcha, but there are hikers that don't even use filters at all who say the very same thing. Let me add one more point. I also really question the time-saving argument of the Vecto, given what I said earlier. Hell, one could make a convincing argument that the process of using a Vecto may actually end up taking you more time than just filling through a traditional nozzle end. And why, again, are you guys doing this? Is water collection through a spout really that awful? I really think this problem is overstated. So, to sum up, novel and interesting? Sure. Time-saving? In practice? Not really. And then there's the cross-contamination risk, which again is my ideal killer point. And then there's the little weight penalty, for whatever that's worth. So I don't mean to be a hater. Go on loving your Vectos, but be disciplined and about always removing your filter every single time you collect water. Well, that's all the time I need. Let's make the dismount ultralight as well, so bye for now.